Adventurers, welcome back to the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. This is your host, Tom or Robots, here with you again. And I am, of course, joined by my wonderful adventuring partner, the Lotus of the Doom. Welcome back, Lotus. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty good. Actually, for anybody currently involved with ESO at the moment, there's some server issues with their ISP, but I managed to scoot in real quick right before the show, did one thing for the Halloween event that started today, and the first Plunder Skull I got from the Halloween event, I got the campfire memento, which is actually pretty neat.
Nice.
So yeah, it's pretty fun. It's just like you build a campfire and then you can throw dust on it. It makes it change all sorts of freaky colors.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. This event is always fun every year. So
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, this is most people's favorite event. It's definitely one of the better ones for sure.
Yeah. Well, you can't go wrong with spooky stuff. That's why we always want to talk about spooky things during this time of year. So today's episode is titled The Most Horrifying Monster in Tamriel. And Lotus, like any good debater, I'm going to preface this with the tactics of debate, right? So one of the first things you learn in debate club is that in order to debate something well, you have to understand both sides of the argument, right?
Correct.
Right. So if I was to say that vampires are the most horrifying monster, and you were to say, no, it's werewolves, and we were in a debate club, then the person running the debate club might say, okay, well, I want you to switch sides, learn as much as you can about the other side's argument, and then argue the opposite side so that you can understand the argument from the other side. Therefore, you better understand each side of the argument, and you can even better argue against the other side because you understand the other side better, right?
Right. It's one of the things that I actually always like, and why a lot of people wonder why I don't have opinions on a lot of game stuff when it first drops, because I like to hear both sides of something before I formulate some type of opinion and argue my point, which again, it's when I get it. When you get passionate about things, you kind of get emotional about them, and for better or worse, I like some of the streams, you definitely wouldn't know it because I'll be yelling and blowing up and dying all the time in these old games. But for the most part, if I'm actually being serious, I tend to be a little low on the old emotional scale where it's just like, yeah, just give me the facts and I'll just try to piece together what my argument would be.
Sure.
Whether it's a good argument or not is irrelevant, but like, that's at least my goal. So like a lot of times, the best arguments are made by people who actually understand what they're arguing against, as opposed to just understanding their side of it. So,
of course, because you have the potential of just arguing against a straw man, which is a logical fallacy. You're not actually arguing against the point at all. You're arguing against a fake, image of something that really isn't the thing you're arguing against at all.
Exactly.
So why am I saying all this? Well, we are in Spooptober. We talked about the Void last week, arguably one of the most creepiest potential things in the entire universe of the Elder Scrolls, right? Something that we don't even understand based on our conversation, something that is just really at the periphery of our understanding at all, and something that we're just grasping at. So I thought about it and I was like, okay, well, we've got another episode this month and we're coming up on the end of the month. So we've got our patron episode coming up next week. So we've got one more episode to talk about something in the lore that is absolutely horrifying. And so I was going through all the different monsters and things. We've covered some of these things in previous years. And I was like, well, what is something that some people find absolutely terrifying, something horrible, something some people really don't like? And I came up with it. And sometimes you and I don't take this seriously. So I thought it would be a good idea to put our mindset on the other side and try to see things from a viewpoint that we don't always agree with.
One that I would definitely say that I run a cult specifically opposing.
Yeah. So we are here today to try to understand why people are so afraid of Guar. Or
It is a Guar episode.
This is a Guar episode, and we are going to come at this from the perspective of people who hate or fear Guar, and we are going to do our best to understand the horror of the most horrifying monster in all of Tamriel, the Guar.
The Guar.
So go with us on this journey. Put on your Guar scaredy pants.
Guar skin boots.
Your Guar skin boots and go with us here. So let's crack open the UESP to the Guar lore page, and we're going to just dive right into what we know about the Guar. So here we go. Guar or Guars. I don't know if there's a particular version of this which is more proper for plural.
It's interesting. I've not right off the rip. That's one of the things. It's like I always refer to them as Guar. I've never thought it's like a pack of Guar, not a pack of Guars. I've never thought of putting an S on Guar.
Yeah, but I suppose that they bring this up because both are found in the writings. So
yeah, so I could probably just be interchangeable.
Yeah. So Guar or Guars are large bipedal reptilians. Pause. Large reptilians. Already, that is kind of freaky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking like dinosaurs here, right? Like already. Ugh. Like I can see why that's disturbing.
Yep.
Native to Morrowind and Black Marsh, they are the primary domesticated herd animal of these provinces and are not usually aggressive. Now, if I was to tell you cows are the primary herd animal of these provinces and are not usually aggressive, you would think twice about going up to a cow. Now, the last time I saw an aggressive cow, I don't think anyone's seen an aggressive cow in a very, very long period. Bulls, on the other hand, are generally aggressive, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I don't think
it's the exact opposite.
I don't think you could even say
they're usually aggressive and occasionally not aggressive.
Right. I don't think you could say a cow is almost ever aggressive. Cows are like I don't know if you could even say are not usually aggressive. You could say are basically never aggressive. Like right. So Guar is not usually aggressive. It means they sometimes are aggressive. So that kind of warning flag there, right? Characterized by their endurance and intelligence. Another warning flag. They're smart.
Yep.
Guar are used mostly as pack animals and beasts of burden, although certain breeds are used as mounts, which we do so in the games, right?
I'm always riding around on a Guar in game.
Yeah. Although usually associated with Dunmer, Guar have a special relationship with Argonians, and the Dunmer traditionally employ Saxleal slaves as Guar herds and handlers. A young Guar is called a calf. The Guar is related to the Aelit, Kagudi, and Warmmouth. Okay, now, so we're going to pause here. I'm going to pull up some images here. So here we go. Let's take a look at their closest relatives. Here is the Aelit. This is the Aelit, and the Aelit looks like a bipedal monster. This thing is a mouth with legs with giant sharp teeth.
It's funny you say that because I forget which... I feel like I almost want to say it was from Scordo the Knife or something. But there is a writing in game in Elder Scrolls Online that references them as basically being a mouth with legs because they're if you were like try to eat them, there's really not a lot to work with because it's just kind of a pair of legs.
They're just
like
a
the
walking
rest
head.
is just yeah. So yeah, it's funny you said that because that was the first quote I thought of was whatever that I wish I knew what it was off the top of my head. That writing where it was just like, yep, it's basically just a mouth with legs.
Right. So we also have the Kagudi, which is similar. A similar monstrosity, mouth with legs and tusks as well.
Yes, and tusks. It's kind of got like the Triceratops head as well. For like a real life counterpart.
Right. It has kind of like that the shield on the back of the head.
Yeah.
Kind of thing going on. Right. And then, and I think this might be the most horrifying of all of them, the worm mouth, which
these are just a just a disaster.
Right. So there's the worm mouth in ESO, which is like a beaked, two-legged head on legs with like a big thick tail. A torso with like very thick scales along its back. Right. But then there's the Shadow Key Wormmouths, which consist of all of maybe, I don't know, a dozen polygons.
Yes. And I assure you, you saw these coming from a mile away because the game ran at like 5 frames a second. Mm-hmm. So they would very slowly lumber toward you to try to gently kill you.
Mm-hmm. And in my headcanon,
just hideous monsters.
In my headcanon, that's how they actually look like in real life.
Yep. All right.
They are just very low polygon real monsters.
I also like how there's a nubbed version of them as well.
A nubbed version?
Yeah, if you were looking at it, there's the regular version, and then for anybody who's able to see, there's a nubbed version, which is just slightly off color. I don't really know why that's nubbed, but
those
I don't know. Those creatures are that is just a straight up same thing with a slightly different skin tone.
Yeah, but and then the horrid one, God. Which is just like slightly darker. Yeah. It just doesn't have red eyes.
Wormmouths are really, really hideous.
So these are its closest relatives. Now, let's pull up an image of a Guar to take a look at it in just contrast to one of these things, and just take a look at it. Right. So this is a Guar. Again, mostly a walking head, but it has kind of those front arms. It's got kind of those like Tyrannosaurus Rex arms on the front, but walking head, big teeth, big mouth.
Yes. Little nubby tail.
Little nubby tail.
And honestly, one of the ways that Hyperpixie from one of the co-hosts of Tales of Tamriel has always referred to them as a derpy T-Rex.
Derpy T-Rex.
Which it is. It's kind of like a raptor or a T-Rex, except all of its features are rounded. Like a lot. Okay. And this so the Morrowind version
is a very derpy T-Rex. Yeah. This one is like, hey guys, can I join you? And all the other Guar are like, oh, hey, Rodney. And he's like, what are you doing, guys? And they're like, hey, Rodney. Why didn't you invite me to the party? Sorry, Rodney, we forgot. Yeah, that's what this guy is.
However, I stand by the fact that what people must be afraid of is the potential for these creatures, because Rodney apparently still has high intelligence.
Yes. Yes.
So is all of this an illusion?
Right. Well, here that goes to the next point here, because they're related to the Alet, the Kagudi, and the Wormmouth, Worm, but some scholars argue, and I don't know if these are like racist scholars or if these are scholars who actually have some sort of scientific evidence for this, that they may be distantly related to Argonians.
So
now, is this now, let me just pose the question here. Is this like Homo sapiens being distantly related to apes or monkeys?
Right.
Or is this like racist people going, well, they look kind of like Argonians.
Lizard equals lizard.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what is going on here, right?
So my first take on that would be, it is Tamriel, so it's likely racist, because everything is all the time.
That's true.
But that aside, that seems like that would be really, really distant, especially because, I mean, the we've really don't know what the deal is with the hist and its direction behind the scenes, like why it does what it does, what its purposes are, and what it's looking for. But with Argonians being directly like created by the hist and returning to the hist, you don't get that impression, at least in game, from anything I've ever seen about them being brought back to the hist. It's more of Guar just kind of are around. They provide plenty of uses. Like I said, they can be helpful. They tend to be more domesticated, like it was mentioned. But you never really see any direct relation to the Hist. And in fact, they're more common in Morrowind than they are in Black Marsh. I mean, they're in Black Marsh, but it's like you generally see the majority of these and their counterparts in Morrowind. And then you've got some of their weird little, cousins in Warmoths and Kagooties and stuff like that, floating around in Craglorn and stuff like, right. other regions. So it's like, it's not impossible, but that one seems a bit more of a stretch. I would guess that's probably a Dunmer scholar if I were to.
Yeah.
If I were to venture a guess as to who made that claim.
Right. Yeah. So similarly, it goes on and says Argonian historians have speculated that Guar were originally native to Black Marsh and were introduced to Morrowind by Dunmer slavers. However, other sources claim that Morrowind's unique fauna developed in geographic isolation from the rest of Tamriel. So there is debate as to which zone they may have evolved in or originally been from. Even if evolution is even a thing in Tamriel, we don't really know.
Right. And when there is evolution, it seems very quick, more than... I guess in some cases, very quick. The Bretons have kind of evolved in some weird ways over the games and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's like when you deal with evolutionary stuff in the series, it's kind of like, oh yeah, this happened. So as a direct result, now this is like this. And it's like, it's not really evolution so much as just an abrupt change or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right. So there's also some other details here. Despite the name, Bantam Guar are actually a member of the Scuttler family. And so just as a reminder here, the Bantam Guar look like this. A lot of us have these as pets. I call these the little chickens of Tamriel.
Yes.
Now, there are chickens in Tamriel, but these are like the little lizard chickens.
Lizard chickens.
Yeah, little lizard chickens. And I've got the little fire guy here. I call him my fire chicken. And there's a few different versions of these guys.
Yeah, there's a lot. Without, coming across as cynical or anything like that, some of the lore gets there's all sorts of different variants of these because cosmetic marketing. There's tons and tons of them for promotional reasons, stuff like that. But as a result, they're all in the series. So there's lots of different versions, but Bantam Guar themselves are basically like little mini Guar with, instead of the little T-Rex arms, they have little chicken wings in front. And
right. But they don't actually look like Guar so much as other types of reptiles. And like it says here, they're more related to scuttlers and cliff racers than
and they definitely have more of a face and less of a mouth on legs.
Yeah, they have a more erect body too, more like a chicken. Yeah,
it's more
walking
upright.
around,
for sure.
and less like a walking head that just has a very short torso on legs.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then it goes on and says domesticated Guar are regularly seen outside their native lands and have been imported to Cyrodiil as beasts of burden for hundreds of years. Guar are often raised or hunted for their hides, eggs, and meat. Wild Guar are usually docile, but can sometimes turn feral and attack travelers. Again, warning flag. And we talked about this a little bit on previous episode. Look at the size of their freaking mouths. Imagine approaching a Guar on the road who you think is docile. And this is the scary part of Guars, right? You come across one and you think, oh, what a nice little Guar. Who left you here? Where is your master, little Guar? What were you doing traveling here? Where's your gear? Mm-hmm. And you go up to pet him on his little head, and he decides to take a chomp out of your arm, right?
Yep.
Well, the Guar does not have the mouth the size of a cow. He has a mouth the size of like the entire top half of your body, and there goes your entire arm, not just a few fingers.
Yes.
So,
because there's not a lot of room for error with that. It's kind of an all or nothing type of deal.
No, their mouths are gigantic.
Yes.
Well, here's another thing. Why do they need mouths that big? What are they eating that makes their mouths that big? And here's go ahead.
The thing is, since they seem like they're grazing most of the time, I mean, grass generally would relate to, you wouldn't need sharp teeth, which their teeth are angled.
Right.
So they're not flat, which you'd normally see with herbivores, much more commonly, because it would be more of a grinding motion of, eating plants as opposed to a ripping motion, which you'd want with the pointed teeth. And if that's the case, since their mouths are essentially 50% of their body conservatively, right. They could eat like an entire hail bay all at once with like that type of biting thing. So,
but where does it go? Their stomachs aren't bigger
right.
than their mouths.
Yes. So it's like you'd think they'd just kind of swell up like an egg if that's the case.
Right.
And on the note of, attacking travelers in various cases, if you happen to go to, I believe it is Deshan. Yes, it is. It looks like, yeah. So it's in Deshan, which is a province in Morrowind. There is a portion of the map that there is a Guar called Bittergreen the Wild, who is a Guar. Mm-hmm. And Bittergreen is at an overturned cart. It's a traveling cart, so it's like an overturned camp, and it is a world boss. So he is actively murdering travelers, and ironically, he is one of the harder base game bosses that launched with the game.
Yes. So we've established that there is good reason to fear Guar, and we have a little bit more to go on here, because if we move on from the UESP article to the fandom articles, which there's a little bit less credibility around this, but it's always nice to pull from multiple sources. And I usually do. I don't always quote them, but I usually do. I don't always quote them directly, but it says here in this article, and I think this is interesting, more intelligent than horses. So we've got a direct reference here to horses. And then it also says as omnivores. So you're right. They don't just eat grass. There's a reason why their teeth are pointy.
Right.
Just like humans have both pointy teeth and flat teeth. We have teeth meant for multiple types of things that we can eat. The Guar diet mainly consists of plant-based foods, but like their Aelid and Kagudi cousins, they have been known to occasionally consume flesh.
Dun, dun, dun. You need a sound bite right there for something.
Dun, dun. Yeah. The flesh of man or elf.
Or Mer.
Or Mer, or Argonian, or Khajiit, or anything else that's smart and walks around on two legs.
Or other Guar? Would
maybe. Maybe. Who knows? Mm-hmm. I mean, they get hungry enough. Like, think about it. Anything that can eat meat in a dire situation, if it's starving, could potentially eat you because you're made out of meat.
Right. And the morality of the Guar is really probably pretty unknown.
Yeah, and depending on how well its owners have treated it,
Right. And even more so, since we had brought it up before, we don't know a lot of the connections to the Hiss. Since we don't know its reasoning, we also a lot of times don't understand the reasonings of things related to the Hiss. It's a lot harder to catch on to body language of Argonians, since most of their inflections are flat, and it's not a normal, like something would be used to. It's like Guar could, if related, Guar could have the same thing. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's the foundation for the Guar here, and I can see why some people, people like your co-host Arcaneer, I think just doesn't like them because he thinks they're ugly.
Well, he also, so Ark, I'll put on my Ark hat for the moment. I was going to say I put on my Ark hair, but he actually cut his hair. So,
okay, put on your Ark hat.
Yeah, so put on my Ark hat. I don't think I've ever seen Ark wear a hat, but now he does. So in Ark's ramblings of trying to denounce the wonderful Guar,
wait, you can't say it's wonderful. We have to be fully,
on
the perspective of their horrifying.
When anybody of my personal Twitch channel is called a member of the cult of the Guar, for me to be really impartial here. But that aside, so his thing is that the fact that they look relatively happy, they seem docile, they're kind of simple looking, is actually all a ploy, and there is a nefarious reason behind all of the Guar, which is given away by, I believe he refers to them as their raptor teeth and alligator scales, as well as, which does kind of relate to the boss fight in game. They have pretty substantial back legs, or I mean, they're their main legs. We mentioned the little like stumpy arms in front. Their back legs, which relates to the Aelits and the Warmoth. All of them have this. Their back legs are enormous when we were saying that they're basically just a mouthful of legs. And the claws on the back, getting kicked by one of those things or clawed at by one of those things would probably wreck somebody pretty hard as well.
And they have a dew claw. They
do have a dew claw.
They have that little up thumb thing.
Yes.
That it could be like, those are very dangerous. Like they lift that up, and especially with the muscles in those legs, and they take a swipe at you with that.
Yes.
Oh God.
And
they're opening up your chest with like one.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the idea there, whether other people follow along with this, I think there's like 3 of them, or not. The concept is that much like people don't know the reasonings to things done by the Hist, and as a side effect, Argonians, different types of Argonians, obviously, with the tribes can be a little varying, but for the most part, Argonians are known to be very nice, very accepting of outside cultures compared to other things. They're much more mellow than a lot of the other races.
Yeah, pretty chill.
They're they tend to be very chill. They're kind of like lizard hippies. But on the flip side of that, which we had made reference to, I have no idea which episode specifically, or probably multiple times, but during during the Oblivion Crisis, when they get all jacked up on his sap, when they actually had a directive they were going to try to accomplish, they kind of did wreck some house. Things shifted quite a bit. So it's like, okay, that docile veneer that they have hides an inner strength. Well, what if all of the Guar have this passive thing, because maybe whatever they're going for hasn't actually come to fruition yet, that they would actually use force to their advantage and be a threat because they're so ingrained in different societies as pack animals. Well, if there's more to them and they were to go crazy, that would be really hard to probably contain a lot of Guar with a directive outside of literally, I mean, they probably aren't going to be using siege engines, but in regular... Some
sort of Guar revolt.
Right. It would be hard to control something like that. As ridiculous as that may sound, just because they have a lot of physical attributes, even though that they're kind of a little goofy looking, that could definitely mess some people up outside of literal weaponry and needing pretty heavy armor.
Yeah. And like you're saying, if they were somehow stimulated or controlled by like a hive mind, like something like the Hist. Yeah, that could be an issue. Yeah, so, that's a really good point. Now, the last thing I want to point out before we take a break and thank our patrons, and then move on, because we're going to go over each of the different breeds on the second half of the show, is that I did want to pull some actual text from books, but it turns out that the references to Guar are few and far between from any of the like official books.
They sure are. Most
of what we get are references in things like personal journals to things like I was, setting up my pack Guar and heading off into the wherever. You don't get a lot of detailed information from actual books about Guar. They don't seem to be very looked into, which is kind of disconcerting when, like you're saying, they are so common and yet seem to be overlooked. You would think that maybe somebody in the more scientific and magic professions needs to be doing a little bit more research into how the Guar actually function and where they come from. Because maybe there's more to be understood there. So worth bringing up. I wish there were some things I could quote from actual, literature that is worth bringing up, but there really isn't a whole lot. So, all right, well, let's move on because we've got some patrons to thank. All right, we'll be right back.
The skies are marked with numberless sparks, each a fire and every one a sign.
So big thank you to our brand new patron, Chef S, for signing up just yesterday, I believe it was. So thank you for joining us on the Patreon. And also, every week we call out our Tier 5 Daedric Princes, Mr. Gami Boy and Noodle Al Dente. So thank you to them for supporting the show at that tier. That is awesome. And thank you to all... Holy crap. You know how many patrons we're up to now?
Did you break 50?
53.
I'd say that would be breaking the 50.
Holy crap. 53 patrons. So thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the show. You guys are amazing. We have our patron episode coming up this coming Thursday on the 28th. And I was thinking, we've been doing some fun episodes. I was thinking we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potential patrons that are tier 4 or higher. And it would be really cool to talk about some of the creepiest stuff in the game again. And some of our patrons at these tiers weren't able to join us the last time we did that. So I thought it'd be really cool to have a conversation. If you guys would like to discuss that, that would be awesome. Let me know if you have some other ideas for alternate topics. If you feel like we've already covered that, you want to talk about something else, let me know. We'll discuss it on the Discord. But there's so many creepy things to talk about in Elder Scrolls. That would be really fun to have that conversation with you guys. So just let me know what you think. And if we've done anything to help you get through your work day, your workouts, your driving to work, or your preparing decorations for Halloween, that's a good one, then go check out patreon.com/Elder Scrolls Lorecast. See if there's any tiers that have any cool things that you'd like to, make sure that you get. And if you'd like to support the show, we would absolutely appreciate that. You can get ad-free episodes and episodes early, and even t-shirts and stickers now and all sorts of fun things. So go take a look at that stuff. The t-shirts and stickers are limited edition. They will never be available once they're off of there, and they are never going to be sold anywhere else. So once they're gone, they're gone. So go check that out. And thank you again to all of our patrons. You guys are amazing. All 53 of you guys. I super, super appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on with the rest of the show.
Yes, you're entirely brilliant. Conquering madness and all that. Blah, 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 blah.
Ooh, Bosmer vampires. Chef, that's an interesting idea. Do you find those to be specifically creepy? Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, so...
Bosmer vampires are the ones that can only be detected by candlelight, right?
Candlelight detecting vampires.
I feel like that's the only way to tell that they're actually vampires. I forget the name of the Bosmer vampires specifically, but if I'm not mistaken, those are the ones that I'm thinking of, where you won't know. I forget which book it is in the series that it's given away.
It takes the place of the child
they're the ones who
family?
take the place of the child in the family. Never mind. Yeah, oh God, yeah, those ones are dark.
So good. I love the dark stuff.
Yep. That's right. That's those ones.
So good. Yeah, maybe we can each bring something super creepy to share, and we can talk about the creepiest stuff.
There's so many different clans of vampires.
I just stepped on a dog. Sorry, Oreo. He likes to sit under my chair. I didn't hurt him. He just put my foot down. I was like, oh, there's a dog there.
There's a soft little dog.
Soft little dog there. All right, so let's go through. We've got some different breeds of Guar to talk about. We're going to talk about why each one's creepy. Here we go. We're going to go alphabetically through them. We've got the albino Guar. We just shared the picture of this one earlier. The albino Guar, also called the white Guar, are a rare type of Guar. They often feature in Ashlander prophecies, and Bazors taken from their stomachs can be used in rituals. Check out this puppy. This guy. What did I call him before? I forget what name did I call him? Harold?
Ronnie?
Rodney?
Rodney, that's
Rodney.
it.
Yeah, this is Rodney. Hey guys. I'm coming to the party anyway. Is that all right?
Classic Morrowind. Anytime you get a Morrowind gif, it's pretty much Rodney.
Yeah. So albino things in general are a little bit odd because they're just rare.
Yeah, I was going to say they're devoid of pigment.
Yeah,
so it's less common.
Certain kinds of creatures, when they're albino, look stranger than other kinds of creatures. And this dude, being that he's a model from Morrowind, looks particularly weird.
Yeah, a little polygonal.
Yeah. Also, his legs are like kind of chickeny. That's kind of creepy. And he's kind of missing teeth, which makes me feel like if he was going to eat me, I'd get gummed to death, which is almost more scary than just being like torn to shreds.
Right. That would be that would be a very weird feeling.
Mm-hmm. Chef thinks he's adorable in chat though. So
see, That's you can't deny the adorableness of the Guar.
Yeah, but we're trying to talk about how scary they are. So
Right.
I have
They're
to
adorably
hold that
terrifying.
back. Adorably terrifying. All right, next on the list, Banded Guar Charger. The Banded Guar Charger is a breed of striped guar used as a war mount. They are related to the feral tiger guar. So this guy you take to war.
So I will ping in with a little bit of trivia here because there's actually something related. I was waiting for. So this is actually the Guar that I use in Elder Scrolls Online. Funny enough, this was like one of the first mounts they put in the game. But trivia bit. Tiber Septim actually apparently used to struggle at pronouncing the word Guar and couldn't. So as a side effect, because of the stripes, and they were used for, war mounts, a lot of the Imperials would simply call them tigers because
That's cute.
it was less embarrassing since he apparently couldn't pronounce Guar. And actually, he doesn't really, it's kind of hard to see on my shelf because it's far back, but behind me next to Alduin, actually on my giant nerd shelf back there, the little Guar in the middle is a banded Guar. He's the dude from in game.
Oh, but we're getting cute on this again. Look how terrifying this thing is.
Yeah, he's got
look at that spiny teeth and
he's a savage.
Look at those dew claws, man. Okay, look at that. Look at that dew claw. That thing will tear your insides out.
And they're outsmarting the Emperor at the time. So there you go, because their names were unpronounceable.
Yeah, they designed that. That was by design.
That was their intent.
Somehow they manufactured
They
that.
sure did, even though they don't speak.
Right. But maybe they did back then. We don't know. All right. So, common Vardenfell Guar. It's the most common breed of Guar. Despite the name, the breed is not limited to the island of Vardenfell. All right. Let's take a look at this guy. This one, there's something weird about an animal that is almost the same color everywhere, including its eye.
I was going to say, the fact that his eyes are the same color, So the only reference we have to this one is in Elder Scrolls Online, and these have been here since base game.
Right. And by the way, for our listeners, this guy is just kind of a tannish brown color.
Yes.
Everywhere.
It's just everywhere. And I mean, that very well could be what it looks like, but going outside of lore and into just like breaking the fourth wall type of deal, I am kind of curious if maybe since this was original concept Elder Scrolls Online, if maybe the eyes were not supposed to be quite the same color. Maybe that was supposed to be more gold
or just white and they just didn't fill it in.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of their eyes are goldish hue, but it's like, since these are more of a generic, just like around the fields and stuff like that, I wonder if it was more of, these are less detailed than some of the ones now, because a lot of the ones that we'll be continuing on with the mounts and everything, they're much, much more detailed than just the little guys bumbling around in the fields and stuff like that.
It's true. Yeah, they're probably supposed to be like yellowy gold eyes, and the skin is just brownish, and so they kind of just blend.
Yeah,
but it looks like the thing rolled around in the mud and just hasn't blinked yet.
Yes,
kind of what it looks like.
Or it has jaundice.
Yeah. So this is basically the same for the next one, too. The freckled Guar is considered to be the most intelligent breed of Guar. Interesting. They can be taught to come when called and can even be house trained. This thing's like a dog. As such, they're regularly kept as pets in Deshaun. So this guy, tell me that this is a different model, because I don't think it is.
So, I mean, I'm not going to tell you it's a different model.
It looks the same.
But if you insist it's a different model, I'm lying to you. Like that's why this is specifically why I had mentioned that it's like some of this outside, just the like lore aspect of doing this stuff. I think they might have been a little game asset-y. Okay, there's only so much we can do in this amount of time. We have to get these things good to go. It's basically like the same thing.
I mean, look at that. Look.
Yeah.
One, the other. one.
They're
The other. I mean, they're different
essentially
zones.
the exact same thing.
The lighting's a little bit different, but they're freaking
Also,
the same. They are the same.
I would like to point out, Chef made a very valid point for us. Reused model, terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there we go. Quite horrifying.
Quite horrifying.
But yeah, those are listed as two separate things. I assume that's just because of the code. It looks like the same model.
Yeah. Okay. So this one I find to be particularly frightening. So here we go. The Frostbane Guar is a strange breed of Guar found in Skyrim. It has a shaggy white coat adorned with symbolic hair knots. Who is tying the hair on this? Probably the owner?
Don't like this one.
If this thing's wild, I don't know who's tying up the hair. And hide strips meant to protect it from the frigid climate. So this must be like an owned one, I guess. The practice,
I would assume it's a similar type of thing to like owning a mammoth.
Yeah, the practice of adorning mounts with these dangling Frostbane talismans is an Atmoran tradition dating back to Ysgrimmor's arrival in Skyrim. The ancient Nords worshipped totem animals as gods, and Frostbane talismans continue to be used into modern times. Since the Guar is native to warmer climates, the existence of Frostbane Guar suggests that these wards do in fact protect against the cold. The Frostbane Pony Guar is a smaller breed, which has long been popular among the more traditional aristocracy of Riften, who enjoy dressing them in Frostbane garb and keeping them as pets, which is also kind of terrifying. All right, Check this guy out. All right, here we go. Look at this dude. He's got like shaggy hair and braids that come down and get tied up.
It's very peculiar, as generally this is blurring the line between mammal and lizard.
Yeah, imagine a lizard with white hair that like is also cut out around the eye so that the eye can see. Like, does the hair not grow as long around the eye, or is somebody just trimming that back?
It also trails off on its legs as well and becomes scales again.
Like, are there any animals we know of that have both hair and scales? Usually scales and feathers can be on the same animal. Like, that can happen.
Right.
But
yeah, I don't have a good answer to that.
Yeah,
but
this is a little odd.
Yeah, this thing is very strange looking. It's almost like a braided version of, if you've seen The Addams Family, Cousin It.
Cousin It. Yeah. If Cousin It was a Guar, then it would be a Frostbane.
Picture albino Cousin
Guar.
It, and instead of little feet, it actually has Guar legs. And there you go.
There you go. Okay, so that one I think is particularly scary.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Don't like that one. It freaks me out.
I think it was made in a lab. That's my guess.
Yes.
Then we have the Glowgill Guar, also called the Lambent Guar, is an exotic breed of Guar that is distinguished by its glowing eyes and stripes. They trace the origins to a coastal Argonian tribe near Archon, where they have dark navy skin and bright blue eyes. The bioluminescent bioluminescent stripes. Rumors suggest that they can breathe underwater, but it's unknown if they can. It's just rumored. I would suppose that somebody who owns one of these could like take it to a lake and just see.
Yeah, just place it in like a duck and see if it goes down. Or
people own these. Like, you could just try.
Right.
The Glowgill Guar from Gideon and Murkmire are distinguished by their golden colors, hence why they are called the Ambergill Guar and not just the Golden Glowgill Guar. Locals that live in Black Marsh's swamps believe that nature's energy feeds the Guar's light, but scholars believe that the light is only an alchemical reaction. Tattoo artists in Murkmire siphon the Guar's blood to create glowing yellow skin markings and say that the blessings of the land keeps them lit. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, so check this guy out. This is the here we go. All right, so this thing is bioluminescent. Its eyes glow also.
Yeah.
And its claws.
Yes, it's this is where they're going to start getting a little more mystical weird than.
Yeah. So stripes, eyes, and claws all glow with bioluminescence from who knows where. They're not sure, but they also draw the blood in order to use to make other things glow also.
Yeah, so this just seems like a weird Fallout crossover from Too Much Radiation. Personally,
this is an FEV problem.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what you would ride if you were a super mutant.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So, that guy, this was just super weird. Also, in the middle of the night, if this thing was running at you, it would just look like a bunch of glowy lines with glowy eyes and glowing claws. This would be terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Super, super scary. All right. So next on the list, Golden Eye Guar, or Golden Eyes. That sounds like a James Bond film.
Yes.
Are a breed of guar used as a mount. It is a cross between a banded guar charger and a wild guar, known for its difficulty to control, red flag, and its distinctive golden eyes. Despite the difficulty involved in training one, golden eyes are fearsome, loyal, and intelligent. These also seem like the kind that you would maybe want to ride into battle.
Yeah.
But also would be likely to get angry at you and bite your arm off.
I was going to say, just don't get bucked off in combat in front of it, because it'll probably mess you up. This one's got like an evil little sneer too in the picture.
Yeah, he's kind of like...
Yeah, exactly. If you put a little mustache on him, he'd be like a little snidely whiplash.
Yeah, the little arms don't really help it either.
Yeah, that's not helping. He's doing the little like hand...
It almost looks like he's like rubbing his hands together. Yeah,
exactly,
so
with
like,
an evil plot. Exactly.
Yeah, he's kind of got that look.
All right, so that guar breed specifically seems a little dicey.
Mm-hmm. So then we have the green Narcissus guar.
Yeah,
that's too many S's.
Too many S's. Unless, Narcissus could also own this guar.
Yeah. So this is a robust breed used as the standard mount, and Dray Beast of Central Morrowind is named after the city of Narcissus. And this guy, so how do you feel about the this scale pattern on this guy? He's kind of a medium to darker brown with a little bit of like a ruddy hue, like a reddish.
And it's a little more Ninja Turtle shell type of deal.
Yeah.
As a pattern on this guar. So
yes. Yeah.
I hope we're doing a good job, at least moderately explaining this for the audio listeners. Like,
I hope so too.
But it's got like that tortoise shell, like not really a hexagon pattern, but
big flat individual scales that have gaps between each of them, like you would imagine like a turtle shell to have.
Yeah, or caked on ashes. Actually, that's another way you could kind of put it, because they're lighter. But yeah, it's like a big squared off pattern, and it's just kind of interlocks like honeycomb almost.
Yeah. So that one, I think the color's a little disturbing on that.
Yeah.
It's just anything that has kind of a uniformity and lack of contrast makes it feel fleshier, even though there's the scales there. I don't know. Something about that's a little bit with reptiles. Then we have the Hist guar, known in Black Marsh as Scales Seam Daubed with Hist Sap. This has a bunch of dashes between it. Is a subspecies of guar that which appears as if it has splotches of glowing Hist sap splattered across its green skin. It is unknown if the breed actually has any connection to the Hist, warning flag, right? We were talking about this. Yeah. Or to amber plasm. The Hist guar is used as a mount and is the only subspecies known to enjoy music.
All right.
This guy likes music.
Who figured that one out?
I guess you play music and he dances or something. He starts like jamming out. This guy looks like somebody splattered a bunch of yellow paint on him.
Yeah, I was going to say, this guar came from a paintball match. That is
this is the paintball guar.
Yeah, he is just, that's literally all this guar has, is just paint splats on him, or her, because I don't know, you could tell these apart. But yeah, this is definitely one of the ones that's a little... Sure, that's all I can really.
Okay.
Yep. Fine. Sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, it has kind of a greenish gray kind of color to its I don't know. It's skin, but it also has what seems like these dark, splotchy scale patterns.
Right.
And
then the very, very vibrant hist or amberplasm.
Yeah, yeah. But so what is the thing called where people have that negative reaction to what looks like a bunch of pock marks or holes in something? You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about, and I have no idea.
I don't remember the name of that, but the dark colored, splotchy looking scales on this almost make it look like there's a bunch of little holes all over it.
Okay.
Big holes.
Yeah.
It kind of gives it that kind of effect, which I would imagine would set some people off.
Yeah.
So I could see why that could be an issue and also horrifying.
Yeah. Is it tryptophobia or is that just the threes?
Is it tryptophobia? It might be.
Because I was going to say, I that was sort of what I was thinking, but I know that is holes, but I wasn't sure if that was just holes in small groupings, but you actually might be right. I think it's tryptophobia. It might not be just related to like 3 dots related or 4. I think
that's it. I think
that might be it. I think you're correct.
So here's one that I think absolutely counts as horrifying. The Hollowjack Rider Guar. I believe it was last year that we did the Hollowjack episode.
Yes, and this is his holiday-related guar.
Yes, Hollowjack Rider Guar is a mysterious breed usually only sighted on the night of the Witches' Festival, which is just right now.
It started today at 10 a.m. Eastern.
There you go. These sightings are the result of Jack O' the Hollow, a malevolent Rivenspire spirit that curses riders all across Tamriel to ride headless through the night. Guar riders stricken by the curse can be sighted riding headless atop jet black Guar mounts with red eyes. Hollowjack Rider Guar appear to be native to the realm of detritus. I almost messed that up. And can be summoned from that realm. Oh boy, look at these guys. So how do you feel about bright red eyes on dark-skinned things?
These are your typical... how do we do a Halloween and make it creepy type of Guar? And I think these ones, he looks nice and demonic.
Yeah, he's got the bright eyes.
Bright red eyes.
You know what I want?
Dark,
for Elder Scrolls Online?
Scales. What are you looking for?
What I want is, I want some RTX on. That's what I want for Elder Scrolls Online. I want some ray tracing, and I want some actual light coming out of those eyes.
It's just radiating in different directions.
Yes. So when you're like, when the sun goes down and it actually gets like legit dark on the map, and you see one of these guys galloping at you, you know,
and it reflects
they don't really gallop, dude. Like they just kind of trot, right? They're just like plop, 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 plop. And then like the little eyes just glowing and like reflecting off the landscape. That's what I want.
All right. I'm not going to lie. That would probably be pretty cool to see, just because RTX can make some really shiny stuff, even when you're dealing with things like Minecraft. So
yeah, that would be cool. There's no doubt. All right, next we have the Pale Velothi Guar. The Pale Velothi Guar is a breed that hails from the Ashlands downwind of the volcanic Velothi Mountains. They are used as mounts and are renowned as hardy creatures capable of enduring especially harsh conditions. So this actually almost goes to the fact of a little earlier we were talking about, like, do these creatures or do anything does anything in Elder Scrolls actually evolve? And this almost seems to say that they do, because the Pale Velothi Guar, it is very pale. It does have like the weird scale pattern that we were describing earlier, related kind of to the tryptophobia thing. Right. The kind of turtle scale thing. Yeah.
But as a result, though, this pale pattern, if things are ashy along, the mountainous region with all the ash from the volcano in Vardenfell, this essentially seems almost like, okay, this helps it blend into its environment. So
right.
But was this another Guar that has kind of evolved into being this, and now it's referred to as something different, or was it something different out the gate?
I think it has evolved to make it match the landscape. But here's the question. Did it evolve to match the landscape in order to evade predators, or to hunt its prey better?
Exactly. Who knows?
And I would argue that Guar have two front-facing eyes. So they're
That's
the
predator style.
They're the predator. Yeah. So that's another red flag. That's why these things are terrifying. All right. So next on the list, Pony Guar. That sounds cute, right?
It's adorable.
So Pony Guar are a smaller species of guar that are rarely exported since they lack the physical strength of their larger cousins. Well, not well known outside of southern Morrowind, Pony Guar are usually bred as a curiosity, although some are raised for their meat and skins. So they're eaten. They're little guys. They're bred for, eating and skinning.
Yeah.
And I mean, they can still bite your toes off.
Sure.
So that's horrifying.
Yeah, and it's got the bands of the other banded guar, but it's just kind of like a dusty color and less extravagant than some of the other versions.
Right. All right, next on the list, Psijic Guar Exemplar. The Psijic Guar Exemplars are a breed of guar created by the Psijic Order. So these were clearly constructed. These were made. They did not evolve. Like all Psijic exemplars, this breed theoretically represents the ideal form of a guar that a guar can assume, at which point the creature transcends the physical and incarnates the mystical. As such, guar exemplars take on a yellow, ghostly form. They are used as mounts by Psijic monks when traversing the marshy terrain of Black Marsh or Southern Morrowind, and are unequaled in this task. The first guar came to Artaeum when a Psijic advisor to the tribunal returned from Mournhold with a pony guar in the middle of the First Era. So the creation of guar exemplars presumably began sometime after this. So I would question if these have any autonomy at all, or if these are just, like magical constructs.
Yeah. So these ones are in game. I actually got one from like a free crown crate or something I was given. And these ones really strike me as like they wrote in a story around it, but this definitely seems like a construct just made by the Psijic Order that happened during the Somerset expansion type of thing. And it was like, there's a whole line of Psijic versions of these things. And it's just like, okay, this one is fashioned in the form of a guar as opposed to a Sench or something like that. So it's like, these ones are a little too high fantasy and mystical whimsy for me personally.
I don't think they're living things. I think they're just magical constructs. So not really to be feared, more of just, fancy magical spell you can ride around on. So, but this guy might be different. So we have a Psijic mascot guar. They're a breed of guar created by the Psijic Order for use as pets. Like all Psijic mascots, it is unknown if these guar are real animals or an enchanted appearance or illusory construct created from magicka to be used as beast companions or portable storage batteries for magicka. So they may or may not actually be real beasts, whereas the other ones seem to be absolutely, as far as I can tell, magic constructs. Yeah, these might actually be beasts, but we're not sure.
Right. And it's more of these were created, by the Psijic Order, as like was just explained. And as a result, I mean, it's kind of like, why do you do cosmetics in any way? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you want something different to look at. Perhaps they just wanted it to look like a guar. It doesn't seem like the fact that it's a guar really matters so much as it's just this one was a guar shape that they turned it into. Right.
So is it a guar shaped battery? Is it just a fun little magic spell, or is it actually a pet that they made look fancy with magical sparkles and lines and glowy eyes? We don't know, but this thing looks cool. It's like a black looking guar with blue magic lines on it and blue glowy eyes. I have one of these. I think it's really cool looking. I use it on my characters sometimes. But I don't know if it's to be feared, especially if it's not a real creature. So now we move on to another one. This one has a spooky name. You ready for this guy?
Let's do it.
All right. Shadow Ghost Guar. Ooh, Shadow Ghost Guar are a modeled black and white breed of guar and are the only known nocturnal breed of this species. These are like nighttime Guar. Due to their nocturnal habits and the fact that their patterned hides blend in with the shifting gray ash clouds of the slopes of Red Mountain, the breed is rarely seen even by the native Dunmer. Nevertheless, Shadow Ghost Guar are sometimes used as mounts. Shadow Ghost Pony Guar are a smaller breed also native to the slopes of Red Mountain. They are sometimes kept as pets. This guy, I think, looks awesome and also very scary.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it's basically a black and white, but mostly white Guar with black eyes. And it's these aren't quite stripes. The closest description I would have to the splotches on this thing are like a Rorschach test.
Yeah, actually, now that you say it, it really is.
Like, what do you see when you look at this Guar?
Right.
I see two men facing each other. Okay. What do you see when you look at this Guar?
I see an ice cream and a dragon.
Right. I see a butterfly. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it does have very beady eyes.
Yeah. The black
fact that the eyes are totally blacked out, so you can barely see the pupil, is a little creepy as well.
And the fact that these things are like walk around at night, especially because there's the white and the black. Again, you would have that appearance of only being able to see parts of it and not the full figure. And I'm sure that's kind of terrifying. So yeah, a little bit weird. Also, I don't know that I would want to be hunted at night by a Guar.
Agreed.
Yes.
Just straight up agreed. Because again, they have a lot of potential for some killing power if I don't know that find the need to take you down a peg.
These work as mounts too. These things are going to outrun you with those two gigantic legs.
Oh yeah.
There's no way you're going to outrun a Guar. Like
zebra Guar, exactly.
Right. Okay, so we're getting down to the bottom of the list. We only have a few left. Skyfire Guar are often mistaken as being poisonous due to their colorful pattern. Patience is needed to bring this breed to heed. This guy I have as well. This is actually one of my favorite mounts to use because he is so colorful and fun.
It is.
These guys are like red on top and blue underneath. They're very colorful. They've got a little bit of a black in between the two color patterns.
It looks like it's covered in war paint because it's such a weird pattern, but that's supposedly it's scale tones. So
yeah. These guys are very bright and colorful. I don't know what else to say about it than that. It does look like it is like painted rather than natural colors. And
it definitely seems like something that you should not try to ingest because that usually very vibrant colors means poison.
Yeah. Also, it seems like these guys are kind of, I don't know, hard to train. So again, another warning sign there. Then we have the striated Pony Guar, which is a breed of Pony Guar kept as household pets in Morrowind. This guy... I mean, again, so the picture of this is another one that doesn't have too much variation in the colors, mostly kind of tan and orange, actually, with orange stripes. The eye doesn't look very much like a different color than the rest of the body. I would assume this is a very early design from ESO.
Yep.
But look at those teeth.
They're very, very predator.
Very, very pointy. This guy's not very big, but again, he's still bigger than most of our dogs.
Yes.
And
it's like 4 bootses.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want to have to try to kick that thing or punch it. Like, if that thing's coming at me and I don't happen to have a weapon on me, even if I had a weapon on me, even if I had a sword, I don't know that I would be able to defend myself against that.
Yeah.
That would be a problem. So we got that guy. Then we have the tessellated Guar. This is a multi-purpose Guar mount at home anywhere from swamps to ashlands. This is another Ninja Turtle looking dude.
It's a frog turtle.
It's a frog turtle. Yeah, he's got the green and then also the dark kind of turtle looking.
Yep.
What was I saying? Shell kind of shaped.
Yep.
Stuff on his head.
Has generally a surprised look on his face right now.
Yeah, it looks kind of like, huh? Me?
What?
You took my picture? Yeah, he seems a little. I also like how the the saddles on these almost look like funny little hats.
Yeah, that's
terrifyingly funny hats.
Yeah,
yes.
It's a goofy little hat.
Goofy little hats on their backs. All right. And then the last one we have, which I don't actually have a picture for here, is the Tiger Guar, our legendary breed of large wild guar, and our highly prized game animals for noble huntsmen. Found only on the Deshaun Plain, their stripes have been compared to those of a tiger. The banded guar charger is a breed descended from the tiger guar. So that's the last two breeds. And of course, they look like tigers because of the stripes. So there you go. That's it. That's what we got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
did we convince everybody that guars are evil?
Guars are evil. What do you think?
Or are they adorable and everybody should love them?
I don't know. Chat, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I was going to say, did we do a convincing job of... Again, it's one of those things. I think that you have the potential there for them to be a threat if you were to, come up to a guar and just be needling it in the face and just being like, hey, guar, hey, guar, hey, guar. Like, you could definitely cause some problems. But I don't think that they, unless some nefarious plot has yet to be discovered, that they are going to be swooping into maybe the Holojack one, but
so here I'm going to take off. I'm taking off my argue for the other side hat now. I'm going to put it down on the table.
Yep.
And okay, I'm done. I think we did a really good job arguing for the other side. And after all of this, I think I've come to a conclusion. You ready for my conclusion?
I am very ready for said conclusion.
Here's my conclusion. I think after all of this, what we have done, especially for those of you in the live chat, thank you for being here, and those of you who are watching the live version of the podcast who have seen all of these pictures and heard all of our arguments about why guar are potentially horrifying monsters. I think what we've done
are stunning descriptions in your mind's eye.
Yeah, stunning descriptions in mind's eye. I think what we have done now is sold more items off of the Elder Scrolls Online store. I think that's what we've effectively done. So now, before we publish this episode, we need to go and see if we can get some commission from.
Right. I was going to say, do we get like a creator code? Like, hey. When you buy your plethora of guars in the store,
if you guys see an uptick of like several percentage in sales of guar in your store, maybe
you're welcome.
Can we get a kickback from that?
Right.
Because I think it might be due to the show.
Yeah, because I don't think we actually did that great of a job. There's a chance guar could kill and eat you out in the wild. But instead, most people, I assume, will just want to have an adorable guar in their stable or to ride into battle or to just hang out with at the campfire.
Yeah, I think we did a better job convincing everybody how awesome guar are than how terrifying they are. So I think maybe that's what this episode ended up being. But hey, it was fun. We at least got that.
Exactly. Are you pro guar or against guar? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know if we may. Actually, yes, that's after this episode. Let us know. Join us on the Robust Radio Discord. Let us know. Send us a tweet. Let us know if after this episode you are now more pro-guar or more anti-guar. And we'll see if we have
the band. That is
not the band. And we'll see if we've swayed any opinions on this, because I have a feeling we may have swayed them in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I don't think we did a very good job.
So, all right. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. Lotus, do you have anything cool going on that you want to share about? I know you've got something big this weekend.
Yeah. So this weekend, this Saturday, starting at 7 a.m., we've got the big Extra Life Marathon, which kicks off on my personal channel, Lotus of Doom, on Twitch. We're going to have some giveaways and stuff. We actually have, as a team of the Elder Heroes, have already kind of surpassed our first. Well, it was actually meant to be our goal as a team, was $5,000 raised for the Children's Miracle Network. And we actually already passed that. And I haven't even started our Tales of Tamriel yet. So we had to change that. So we had to set a new goal. But my own personal goal, we're actually closing in on as well, is 1,000 to start things off. I've got some milestones if we end up breaking that, with giveaways that I'll be kind of showing off soon. A couple of them I'm actually waiting to see if I can get them finalized right now because I have them in my possession. I just want to make sure that everything's on the up and up, that I can give them away. But as a side effect of us being way ahead of where I thought we would be, I said that people love watching me suffer in these older Elder Scrolls games rather than enjoy myself. So I will be kicking off the event, maybe not directly at the start, but very close to the beginning, with the Elder Scrolls Travels Stormhold, which is the Java phone game from like 2002. I have no idea how this even runs or looks.
Oh, no.
But I do have the code, which the Imperial Library and TES Benefactor helped me get hooked up. So it seems like it should be good to go for the event. And just to give everybody a gauge for that game, I believe it is 164 kilobytes.
Wow.
For a size. So
wow.
I don't know what to expect, but right now the low bar is Battlespire. So who knows?
Who knows? This is amazing.
Knows?
But
it's for good cause. So I will totally get my teeth kicked in a game that I have no idea what I'm doing in. And then after that kicks off, since it will be going all weekend, it starts, like I said, at 7 a.m. Between me and my teammates. It won't end until Monday at 3 a.m. So literally all weekend long, you can tune in and we will be there raising money for Extra Life. And Rich Lambert is going to be joining for Dungeons and potentially Trials on Saturday, I believe at 5 p.m. And he's already said he's cleared out a block of several hours. And as long as we want to run stuff, he's down to help out. So that's really cool for anybody to know. Rich Lambert, who was on the show as a guest for us before, is the creative director of Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, that's super cool.
So it's awesome that he's even helping out this cause. And we'll probably also have some other guests from the community. And if I'm doing more open world stuff and you happen to drop by for the stream, I might open it up at some point if we decide to tackle something open world, like knocking out some anchors or something like that. It'll be open to anybody who wants to join because I will be on PC. So it's all kind of just supposed to be a big fun time for a great cause. And I'm very excited for us to hit some goals and smash them.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I'm going to try to tune in as much as I can. It's also my wife's birthday this weekend, so there will be some times that I can't, but
happy birthday, Mrs. Robots.
Yeah. She's excited. We've got some plans, so it'll be fun. Nice. But I'll try to tune in whenever I can.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think I will also release this episode a day early in order to help get the word out, because otherwise this would normally go up.
Idea. Thank you.
This would normally go up on Saturday morning.
Yeah,
which would
that makes sense.
People would get it and they hear it again, and then they might have already missed part of the stream. So
Sure.
I'll put this up tomorrow in order on Friday. So people will be listening to it going, why is this up early? And then they'll get to this part of the show and they'll be like, oh, that's why this went up early. Okay,
retroactively, it all makes sense.
There you go. This is why the episode is early for those of you who are listening to it early. So yeah. So go, if you're listening to this episode right now, hearing this, go look up Lotus's stream, and it is at twitch.tv/Lotus of Doom, right?
Yep. We'll be there all weekend.
Yeah. And go follow it ahead of time. So it is
even when
in
my
your
shift
list.
ends,
yes,
I'll be hosting the next either Arcaneer or Slick Rick. It'll be one of us, but we'll all be hosting each other. So you go to my channel, you'll find whoever's live. One of the three of us will be live all weekend long.
Yeah. So if you were listening on Friday, go to that channel right now, follow it ahead of time, so that next time you open up Twitch, it'll be on your list. You'll see it. You'll be reminded, oh yeah, that thing's going on. You'll remember it. If you're listening on Saturday or Sunday during the weekend, go ahead and just follow. They're going to be live, so you'll just jump right into the stream and you'll be there. If I'm in chat, say, tell me hello. They say, hey, it's me. I listened to the podcast, and I'm awesome. Let me know you're in there. I'll say hi to you. It'll be really nice to meet you guys. I love when people say, hey, I listened to the show. So that's awesome too. So yes, do that. Yeah. It's
always
great.
A fun time.
It's always a fun time.
Yeah, and the giveaways, I like to keep things open. We do them for milestones, so even if you can't financially donate, this is another thing that I never feel stressed about anything like that. We say that about this show as well. Never try to go above your means. That's totally not the objective whatsoever. But the more people that we have hanging out with us, it ends up just getting more eyes on the project. So it does in turn, the reach is bigger. So it could help.
Heck, if you can just get in the channel, and then once you're in the channel, just lurk in the channel, and then just come and go throughout the day whenever you can. It gets the numbers up higher, it gets more visibility, and it just all of that helps. So,
and generally, if you're in chat and can be within hearing distance, when I do a giveaway, just feel free to enter the giveaway. You don't need to a lot of it's just open, because for gambling laws, it's not like it's related to oh, you need to donate this to get that. That's not what this is about. So it's it's all for fun and to kind of have a good time for a good cause.
Absolutely. So yeah, all of that helps the charity. It all helps out. So anything you guys can do would be amazing. So, and it's all a great cause. So there you go. Yeah. Awesome stuff. Well, good luck with all of that. I hope you actually get some sleep once you're done. And I know it's going to be awesome. You guys always do a great job, and I'm sure this year is going to be even better than it has ever been before. So that's awesome. Well, all my stuff is going like I talk about usually, robotsradio.net for all the different shows. We got lots of lorecasts, Fallout and Mass Effect and Cyberpunk and The Witcher. We got all those different shows. And then also my stream that I mentioned at the beginning of the show. So if you want to come out, hang out with me in the mornings, I'll be doing that. I'll be talking up this Lotus's stuff this weekend, tomorrow morning. So if you want to come hang out with me in the morning and then go watch Lotus's stream all weekend, you can go do that. That would be awesome. And we'll be back next week with our Patreon episode. So don't forget about that. We'll be here same time, same place. So come hang out with us during the live show. We love seeing you guys in chat. And that's what we got for you this week. So thanks for being here, everybody. Stay safe in Tamriel and also in, whatever other worlds you'd like to be in. And we'll see you guys next week. All right, everyone. See you later.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. If you have something you'd like to contribute to the show, please reach out to us at elderscrollslorecast@gmail.com or on Twitter @ESO Lorecast. I really appreciate you listening, and I'd love to hear from you soon.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.